This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/blokes to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan, plus 4 months for free. 4 months for free. That's not too shabby, is it?
Pretty good deal.
It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. I like VPNs. Personally, I do actually use NordVPN.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's an absolutely quality product. It really is. And apparently it's in over 60 countries throughout the world as well. 5,000 servers. So it's keeping your data and your online security, identity security. Yeah. Absolutely top notch.
There's loads of security features on there that are absolutely amazing that I haven't used yet. Yeah, if I'm being completely honest.
There's a lot to go at.
What I do is I just switch to the USA and watch Netflix, and there's certain things that aren't available on UK Netflix that are over there, and that's the main thing I use it for, to be honest.
And obviously you can get it on Android, iOS. There's a load of operating systems that you can use it on as well, so it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, really good.
I mean, why wouldn't you at this point? So don't forget that is head to NordVPN/blokes. You get an amazing deal. You get a huge discount off, and you get 4 free months at the end of the plan as well.
Yeah.
So no brainer. Don't forget, do that, guys. You can click the link below as well, and it'll take you where you need to go.
Brilliant.
Cheers, guys.
Awesome.
Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Collectively we're the Office Blokes.
Yes, we are.
It is a true factual statement. How do the world's wealthiest people travel?
Private jets.
Yeah.
Helicopters.
Really yachts, expensive cars.
Big yachts.
Rolls Royce, Bentley.
There we go.
Stuff like that.
So we just saved you 15 minutes.
That's it. Done.
Yeah. Well, cheers for that one, guys.
I'm thinking this is international travel, though. I don't think this for me, I think it's when people, someone says to me, where do you travel to? I don't go, I got to work every day.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
You know, I think it's more like going overseas, I think.
Yeah.
It's probably maybe a way some of the things are kitted out as well. You know, like the private jets and luxury yachts. I mean, some of them are absolutely stunning inside, aren't they? They really are. So
we shall see. Let's get into it. How the world's wealthiest people travel.
There are roughly 295,450 people with at least $30 million. Such individuals, referred to as ultra-high net worth, represent about 0.0037% of the human population, yet they hold about a third, $35 trillion of the world's wealth. Therefore, it's no wonder why a massive global industry exists, fully centered on supporting the nomadic lifestyles of the world's wealthiest 295,000. As with any socioeconomic class, ultra-high net worth individuals are more likely to socialize with other ultra-high net worth individuals, yet
when you think about that, it's not a massive amount of money. It's not a massive amount of people.
No,
$30 million ain't a lot of money when you take into consideration. When you look at sports people,
sports stars,
all the different sports people from around the world, musicians,
films, television, things like that.
Yeah.
Politicians,
singers,
bankers, entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that,
it's not a lot of people, really, is it?
It's not.
Yeah.
No, not in the grand scheme of things. But I suppose the jump from 30 million to 100 million is even crazier, though.
I don't know when you look at, especially when you look at, some like NFL players or, soccer players, race car drivers. They're on massive amounts, got mega money.
True.
Yeah, huge amounts, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that 30 million just means it didn't seem high enough.
Yeah.
Not to be in that top echelon of
it's only 295,000 people. It's not a lot of people when you
I agree
boil
with
it down.
Yeah.
Intriguingly, the number of people earning and spending similarly to you goes down as your income goes up. Therefore, once you get to the top of the income scale, the scarcity of people like you stretches your social networks out to a global scale. Through the years, this led to the creation of the informal but remarkably systematized so-called billionaire's social calendar. The year often starts on St. Bart's, the traditional New Year's Eve spot for the wealthiest few, then February might include the Super Bowl, and March skiing in Aspen or San Moritz. Spring starts with the Masters Golf Tournament in Augusta, Georgia, while May includes the Cannes Film Festival and the conveniently close Monaco Grand Prix. June's highlight is the Henley Royal Rowing Regatta in England, July's is Wimbledon, August's is the Venice Film Festival, while September often includes a return to Monaco for its yacht show.
Wimbledon.
Well, I caught that as well. So I wonder how many people are on this circuit of like this yearly schedule of these particular events.
I think they're saying this is what you could be doing. I don't think it's a circuit that people actually do. necessarily. Well, I'm assuming a lot of people do, but you wouldn't get that. You know, you not. I don't know.
But if you,
it's possibly something you would do if you're that wealthy.
Yeah, that's
you probably
it.
would do
Yeah,
something
you
like
probably
that,
do a
wouldn't
lot. I mean, you might be wealthy and fucking hate sport, then that takes half of them off there.
but a lot of these crazy wealthy people are associating with the other crazy wealthy people and probably don't work.
Yeah.
You know, or they do work, but
possibly the
CEOs,
and possibly
or
the sports or events are probably just incidental as well. It's probably just where to meet up and talk to these and socialise with them, like they say, I suppose, maybe.
It's just I'd never considered that there maybe could be migrations of rich people all doing the same things, the same routes.
Well, there's a lot of people who want to be seen at certain events as well. So, you know, the yacht show, for example, the big massive yacht people might want to be seen to go. Just even if they have no intentions of buying anything, they just go and turn up and see what's going on.
Be associated with it, don't you?
And anywhere that there's decadence and you're going to be looked after, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm sure the yacht shows like that are just like filthy rich, amazing service for everything.
It's funny that phrase of like people just want to be seen and see what's happening. I was out with my grandson a few weeks ago, and he goes walking off, and he's only 3. And I went, "Where are you going?" He went, "I'm just going to see what's happening." I went, "Mate, I don't know if he's heard me say it or he's heard someone else. And he's walked up. I'm going to see what's happening. I'm like, "You don't have to see what's happening, mate. Come and stay here with me."
You're not tall enough to see what's happening.
October is the Frieze London Art Fair, November might include a trip down under for the Melbourne Cup, and finally, the last major event of the year, before St. Bart's of course, is Art Basel Miami Beach. These events are hardly about the events.
It's a long way.
It just confused me because I went to Art Basel, but that was in Switzerland. That's why I went back, because I was like, that was in Switzerland.
Oh, right, okay.
Of course, is Art Basel Miami Beach. These events are hardly about the events themselves. Most wealthy attendees to Monaco's Grand Prix hardly care about the racing, and its yacht show is far more than a sales event for the vessels, but rather they serve as an exclusive space made available only to wealthy people who want to socialize with other wealthy people. While few go to all, and each adapts the calendar to their preferences, ultra-wealthy individuals have often expressed a feeling of obligation to join the circuit in order to maintain their social standing. Such pressure may have motivated Jeff Bezos, for example, to start his 2022 as he did, on a yacht off St. Bart's with his partner, Lauren Sanchez. Thanks to publicly available aircraft transponder data, however, we're able to see what he did with the rest of his January. Bezos' pair of G650 jets are too large for St. Bart's' short runway, so they waited on neighboring St. Martin while the billionaire rang in the new year. Then, on the 1st, N271DV took off for the 7-hour flight to Los Angeles to drop Sanchez off, while the other, N758PB, flew the next day to take Bezos directly home to Seattle. Over the next 2 weeks, both jets regularly shuttled up and down the West Coast between Seattle and Burbank, presumably to take Bezos and Sanchez to visit each other. On January
Tell me how poor people are contributing to climate change again.
Yeah.
Just private jet everywhere just to go and see each other constantly.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
January 13th, however, one of the jets flew from Burbank to Maui, while the other flew from Seattle and stopped briefly at LAX before continuing on to Maui, presumably carrying Sanchez and Bezos respectively to the billionaire's new $78 million vacation home on the island. Then each jet returned to the mainland 4 days later. Bezos appeared to visit Sanchez again on the 23rd, then 4 days later flew directly to Washington, D.C. Bezos owns the biggest home in the district, the largest newspaper in the city, and his company Amazon is constructing its second headquarters across the river in Crystal City, Virginia, so he was likely there for business. But finally, Bezos finished out the month by flying back to Burbank once again. And he did all of this while threading the needle between highlights on the billionaire's social calendar, as just 11 days later he flew down to LA for the Super Bowl. Across January, Bezos' lifestyle called for his G650s to fly 29,000 miles or 46,000 kilometers in total, which is roughly equivalent to flying between Seattle and Sydney 4 times. To fuel this extent of travel, his jets used about 24,838 gallons or 94,022 liters of fuel, which could otherwise be used to propel the largest passenger aircraft in the world, an A380, across the Atlantic from DC to London with 500 passengers aboard. But Bezos' travel is indicative of the way that market analysts think ultra-luxury travel is heading. You see, two phenomena are crashing head-on to each other to throw the industry into turmoil. First, more people are getting wealthy than ever as money is becoming increasingly consolidated at the top, and second, merely wealthy people are traveling less frequently than in years past, but spending more than ever. Data indicate that prior to COVID, Americans spent an average of $4,871 on a trip to Greece, but now it's all the way up to $6,561. Airline executives have also jubilantly noted that first and business class revenue is remarkably strong despite the continued weakness in the traditionally lucrative business travel segment, mostly thanks to leisure travelers opting to pay the premium for more luxurious travel at a greater rate than ever. In New York City, the ultra-luxury hotel market is said to be booming, with all-time high prices and occupancy rates and new super premium properties opening faster than ever. Summer 2022 saw the opening of the highly anticipated Amman, New York, with the cheapest room starting at $2,600 a night, but more regularly pricing in the $3,000 or $4,000s. 5 years ago, the Amman's sister property, the Utah desert resort known as Amangiri, started at $1,400 a night, but these days, that's doubled to $2,800 a night. And even with dynamic pricing charging a hefty premium for the most attractive dates, plenty of nights are regularly sold out, even many months in advance. And of course, for those lucky enough to get a booking at resorts like the Amangiri, they need a way to get there, so it's no wonder why 2021 saw an all-time record high number of private jet flights, 3.3 million globally. This tremendous growth was in large part enabled by the propagation of the on-demand charter business model. Companies like Wheels Up, NetJets, and XO have revolutionized the industry by simplifying one-off charters of private jets, which makes the means of travel far more achievable for the twice-a-year wealthy leisure traveler. These private jets are serviced by fixed-based operators, which essentially act as private terminals for hire, and these are also observing record traffic, leading to more FBOs being developed, which is pushing up prices for airport real estate and hangars to an all-time high as well. So, as the industry has grown as large as...
I wonder how much these sort of private hire jets cost.
There's an airline, and it's got the I think I've shown you. It's got my name on the on the registration, and I inquired to how much it is to charter it to go to Germany, and I was going to go for the because it's a German airline that owns it, and I thought I'll go to the Oktoberfest or the Christmas markets or something, and inquired, and to get a round trip from Manchester, it was 26,000.
How many seats? 8 seats. Let's say so 26,000.
So me and 7 strippers.
Yeah. Oh, it's got to be
well worth it.
Yeah.
It's only like, what is it, like an hour?
It'd be about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Yeah.
But then you're paying for it not coming back, aren't you?
And pay it as a return.
Yeah, it's a return, but obviously it's not in use.
No. Well, they'll use it for something else and then reposition
Right.
it. If it depends how long I'm there for.
How does that?
No, just for the day. Then
how does that compare to 8 people doing business class doing the same flight?
Well, it'd be business class on a short trip like that would be about probably about £700-800 each, if that.
So you're still spending.
It's not really long haul business class.
Yeah.
So you're just on the same shitty plane. You just put a curtain further down the aisle.
Right.
Yeah. So the difference is like 6-7 grand business class, 26 grand on a private jet.
Yeah.
So it's still prohibitively expensive. What I was getting at was I thought there may be a closer gap than we thought between business class for a load of people and a small private jet like that.
Club together sort of thing. And
Yeah, it seems like it's a big thing going on a private jet, but actually it's just expensive plane seats.
It's very different.
I can imagine.
You're not in the regular terminal. You're going through your own private terminal.
Right.
So there's no queuing with all the biffs. You know what I mean? You're straight through. You get there, you get greeted. You're straight on the plane. There's no messing around. Your seats are very different. You've seen the seat in there where you sat facing each other.
Yeah.
4 people sat facing each other, so you're a bit more relaxed. A lot more space.
Yeah.
It's just you on the plane with your colleagues or your friends who you go with, and if you've got the money, that's the way to travel.
Yeah, I can see the benefits if you've got proper money.
Yeah, definitely. You'd have big money for it, wouldn't you? Without doubt.
As ever, it's simultaneously more expensive than ever and more frustrating than ever to get access to a private jet. Essentially, across the ultra-luxury travel segment, there's a capacity crunch. More people than ever are willing to pay more for a night in a top hotel than most do for a month of rent, or more for a 2-hour private flight than most pay for their cars. The pace of industry growth is outmatched by the growth in demand for the segment. The incredible consequence is that the super wealthy have pushed the ultra wealthy out from their traditional stomping grounds. There simply are not publicly available travel experiences expensive and exclusive enough for the wealthiest of the wealthiest anymore, so they're essentially turning to private everything. Yachts fulfill this need well. They allow the ultra-rich to travel on their own terms, bringing the quality of accommodations they expect to wherever they want to go, largely regardless of outside demand. But where they want to go is still largely dictated by that billionaire's calendar, so each fall, as the temperatures in the Med drop and the final summer events finish up, a maritime migration begins. Some of the super yachts push off the dock with pared-down crews to begin the lengthy transatlantic passage under their own power, and while most yachts are capable of taking on most ocean crossings, it's an expensive, impractical, and dangerous endeavor. That's why these exist. Yacht-carrying ships.
What?
These ships work year-round, connecting the world's yachting hotspots, but in the
What they call as well, you have what's called a semi-sub, which is semi-submerging, and what they do, they drop into the water, and then the boat sails onto it like that, then it raises back up again, and it's all chocked and blocked.
Ah, right, okay.
Wow.
Basically like a portable dock sort of thing. Yeah. Wow.
fall and spring, it's all about the transatlantic migration. So, at the end of the Med season, a deluge of vessels descend on yachting hubs like Genoa, Italy, and Palma de Mallorca, Spain, to load up on one of these vessels, their owners paying up to $100,000 for the convenience. Upon arrival in the Caribbean, their owners can once again access their yachts, providing convenient access to winter events like Art Basel Miami and New Year's on St. Bart's. As with every other segment of the industry, however, this
seems very weird, and I know he said it's potentially a dangerous journey, and that's probably why they're not doing it, and takes a long time. But to get someone to pick up your yacht to take it to where you're going on a plane, it seems like such a waste. You're in a boat that's capable of going over there, but you can't be arsed, so you're going to...
It can't be arsed. It's fuel cost, the danger of losing it, the risk of losing it, the insurance cost will go up. The staffing cost, the people going on there and travelling with it for 2 weeks.
So it may be financially more viable to get it on safer, one of these ships.
And safer.
It's a bit like, you could say same thing about car transportation. You know, with new cars, like they put like a load on a lorry, don't they, in transport. They don't just necessarily take it all individually. Yeah. It's just easier and quicker and cheaper all around in general.
Yeah, but I presume you're buying a yacht for the pleasure of owning a yacht and using a yacht.
But that's what they're doing. They're buying it and using it, and they're meeting it down in the Caribbean, so they're just replacing it.
I think it's just what they use them sort of locally, don't they, around the islands where they are. I don't think they're sort of like...
They're not sailors.
They want to be seen, don't they? Because they've got these multi-million-pound yachts.
Yeah.
And you want to be seen in like, you want to be seen in these areas where everyone else is.
Yeah.
Where you want to showcase your yacht. Sort of thing, and you can't be. You don't. If you're a super wealthy guy, and you get to one of these, you've got to be super wealthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to be almost a billionaire. Sort of
it's
thing.
a bit like the ocean-going liner that we were watching the other day, and like the super sort of like cruise liners. Yeah. You know, they are sort of like different, really.
Yeah,
very different to travel one of them across the ocean.
Traveling like an open ocean because it's huge.
The risk that comes with it, and like I say, the cost, the fuel cost, the staff costs. Everything that goes with it to get over there.
I suppose I assumed these people were into sailing, but they're not. They're just people who own yachts and like to hang out on yachts.
Even the charter. So you might even reposition your boat down from, say, like you were saying there, from the Med into the Caribbean, just for repositioning purposes. So then you can charter it out again down in there and keep it earning money.
Yeah,
you know, and it's still, when it gets there, it's spotless.
Yeah. True.
It's a complete other planet, isn't it?
It's just different.
When we used to ship them, it wasn't hundreds of thousands.
I bet it's a proper pissing contest, though. If you're in Monaco with your yacht and someone's like, is that the 2021 model? Mine's not even been released yet. I've got the 2023.
Yeah, when you look at the size of some of them compared to the others, you think, you know, someone can spend like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million on one, and then someone's got an even bigger one. You'll think, what's the point?
Mate, when the F1 used to come to Abu Dhabi, right? I used to be in the marina, sit there, and you'd see some of the boats there, and you'd be like, wow, these are spectacular boats. And then you go to the other side where just outside the marina, the way the super yachts were, and you were like, the boats in the marina look like shit.
Yeah,
these were
the dream. These were all the sheikhs.
These were all the sheikhs from different, like, you know, Saudis, things like that. They were. One of them bought Abramovich's old yacht. Right, that was in the dock.
That was huge, wasn't it?
Oh, mate, they're just. It's a different world. It's a totally different world.
Superyacht industry is growing faster than ever, meaning what was previously a refuge from the constraints of land is finding itself increasingly stuck out at sea. Take, for instance, a berth at the Yacht Club de Monaco. First and foremost, it'll cost you. During the summer season, a night will cost the shortest vessels $275, but if you'd like to dock the same boat during the Monaco Grand Prix, the price skyrockets to over $16,500 a night.
Wow.
To get one of the few spots that can fit the largest 60 or 70 meter vessels, it'll cost $73,000 a night. But even then, the clubhouse building blocks the view of the track, so to actually see the race, this fee includes access for two to the building itself. But cost is hardly the issue here. Rather, it's club membership, which requires that you were first sponsored by a member, then approved by the admissions committee. Once in, to secure a spot during the Med season, berth reservations have to be booked months in advance. But for the only event that parallels the Grand Prix in exclusivity, the yacht show, just getting a berth is only half the battle. When showing your superyacht off to other attendees, the best spot to dock is here, across the way, so onlookers can take in the full profile of the vessel rather than just its rear. But getting these spots requires first that the yacht is too long to fit in a traditional spot, and that you or your captain has a strong relationship with the event directors, relationships that take years to form. Navigating these busy waters is an expensive pain. Superyacht ownership in general is an expensive pain. Yachts don't generally get someone from one place to the next efficiently at all. On the open ocean, they're generally unpleasantly bumpy rides, and yearly costs generally average around 10% of the boat's value. Yet, across the board, no matter the length, sales only continue to rise. Anecdotally, the deals cut on the decks of these behemoth boats and the valuable relationships curated at yacht club bars are said to make the investment worth it. As one new yacht owner told The New Yorker, quote, "One deal secured on board will pay it all back many times over." So, increasingly, the yacht is now perceived as a necessary component of the billionaire social calendar, meaning the same way the wealthiest few are feeling about private aviation and ultra-luxury hotels now extends to the yachting world as well. In response, the ultra-wealthy are getting more creative. Over the past 5 years, just as overall sales and superyacht builds have risen, the number of superyachts over 40 meters being refitted has nearly doubled. More often than not, refitting means a visit to a boatyard for minor alterations. Sometimes, though, these refits are major, which reflects a growing trend: the rise of the expedition yacht. With traditional waters busier than ever and the experiential economy as big as ever, billionaires are rebuilding and buying superyachts capable of taking on more adventurous trips, be it sojourns into the Arctic or lengthy remote prowls across the Pacific. At the extreme end of this trend is a former Soviet icebreaker now rebuilt as an equally tough and luxurious expedition yacht called Legend. On the other, experiential yachting firms have popped up that create World War II battle simulations in the Pacific for bored kids, or set up temporary restaurants on sandbars in the middle of the Maldives. The trend towards exploration and expedition isn't just a superyacht thing either. At the same time that increasingly numerous millionaires are pushing the ultra-wealthy away from their old stops, the interest in and social value of unique experiences is pulling billionaires to services offering one-of-a-kind adventures, from up-close gorilla safaris in Rwanda to luxurious overland treks to the South Pole. These Luxpeditions, as they're called, are individually curated by companies like Brown and Hudson to push their guests through Bear Grylls-like experiences in frigid winter conditions before they escape to tents with heated floors and Michelin star-worthy food waiting on them. Their goal is that the trip, in their words, is seared into the participant's memory. And if the extreme outdoors isn't of interest, Brown and Hudson offer the opportunity to travel like James Bond, to live a few days like someone else entirely, or go off on a globe-trotting grand tour. For the ultra-wealthy, the options are really endless. As long as it's legal, said one representative of a referral-only travel service, they'll do anything for a client.
Referral-only travel service.
Wow.
Excuse me, mate, I'm a new billionaire. Can I? No, sorry. You've not been referred.
The mad thing, that's how it works, isn't it? But the mad thing is when you look at things like this, how much money is out there, what people have got.
Yeah,
it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah,
It really
some
is.
obscene amounts of money.
but with a lot of these like invite-only or referral-only sort of things, you're going to have to do this hustle and the migration, and you're going to have to do deals with people, I'd imagine. Yeah. Some of these deals on the yacht are, I'll introduce you to my guy at the travel company.
Do you know what's bred from that?
Go on.
Corruption.
Well, it kind of is corruption.
And then once you're one of the most elite corrupt people out of that group, and you're the one that arranges all the corruption, then you get a job at FIFA.
Yeah,
Is that the interview stage?
I think you're right there.
Bespoke traveling for the billionaire class is booming, and as long as the traveler gets a good story out of the experience, or the ability to brag about visiting the Salar Uyundi Desert in Bolivia, or the most rural reaches of Sudan before any of their friends, they'll keep paying well into the hundreds of thousands for it. But of course, the true top of the market is what we don't know about yet. Increasingly, wealthy people are traveling to be seen, either in person or on social media. In response, ultra-wealthy people are increasingly traveling to disappear, as reflected in the record sales of secluded $30, $40, and $50 million vacation homes in places like Hawaii, Colorado, and the Caribbean. We don't have a great sense of the ins and outs of the most expensive travel experiences because the secrecy is part of the premium itself. By the time we do, the top of the wealth pyramid will have moved onto something else, always staying one step ahead of the merely wealthy. If you want to learn more about the yachting world, and specifically how builders are managing to design ever larger and more luxurious yachts, I'd recommend checking out this episode of the show.
What a really interesting video.
It was, wasn't it? Because
very much so.
It's the side of life we don't see.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah.
So you can only kind of imagine what it could be, or what goes on and what happens in different things. But I don't know. You just obscene amount of money.
Yeah.
Obscene.
I mean, if you've got the money, spend it how you want, can't you? But
Yeah.
you do look at some of the things there, and you think,
Where's that money come from?
Yeah.
So much of it must be on a whim, this whole travel sector as well.
It's usually in the ocean.
But one crazy rich person just goes, I want to go and hang around with some tribe somewhere, make it happen. Click the fingers at someone.
They probably do, because it's something
that's the
different,
exclusive thing.
because no one else has done it before. That's what they're probably looking for, isn't it?
But you know how many times you see, like, on social media, someone in Rwanda with gorillas? You don't often see it, do you?
No.
You don't often see Jeff Bezos with his missus down hanging out with the gorillas in Rwanda. Don't know. He's one of them guys. He still works, still grafts.
Yeah.
To some extent. But then he's travelling up and down the coast and over to Hawaii with his new house and all that kind of stuff.
Jets and all that.
Yeah, I mean that's just your standard lifestyle, really.
Yeah.
If we could all afford that, that's the kind of lifestyle we'd have.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we go into that? I
Probably.
wouldn't be going to like sit with the gorillas in Rwanda or. You know what I mean?
Him getting a private jet is probably literally like just jumping on a bus, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well,
cost-wise, with his fortune,
he's on taxi, isn't it?
It's nothing to him,
It's
is
just a
it?
taxi for him.
Yeah,
You know,
it's means to an end, isn't it,
this-
from getting
this
mates
is when
money.
what he'll do, he'll tell his secretary, whoever he works with, and just say, I want to be in Seattle for 9 a.m. in the morning. What time do I need to set off? I need this.
Yeah.
And then they'll arrange it and they'll say, right, 7 o'clock tonight, you're on the plane.
Yeah.
And we're getting picked up here at 5:30 or whatever it is, and that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So the decimation of the local high street went to pay for Jeff Bezos to have his own couple of private jets.
Good on him,
By the
though.
look of it,
Fair
yeah.
play to him.
Well, it's capitalism, isn't it, at the end of the day?
It's come up with a business that's gone absolutely mental.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
and grafted
so
and put in
successful.
I'm kind of half saying it in jest, to be fair. I'm sure there was lots of contributing factors to local businesses going.
People with businesses and hustle, do side hustles and put stuff on to make money. Do you know what? I'm all for that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get a
Love it.
successful business through a good idea and pick up something that people want, absolutely, why not?
Yeah,
absolutely all
and if
for
they've
it.
got that kind of money and they want private jets and massive yachts and fancy girlfriends and nice cars and all that, you know what? Fair, go for it.
It'd be nice to think
You've
that
earned
they sort of like give some of it back though to society and give some of it away. I mean, they don't have to. I just think it's nice helping other people that are a bit less
I
fortunate.
agree with that. They don't have to. I think.
Don't say they have to. I think it'd be nice if they would, which some of them do, of course.
A lot of them do.
He's giving away half of his net worth.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I think some people do get to a point where they realise this is just silly money. Like my kids won't be able to spend all this money.
No, I mean, you look at what Elon Musk paid for Twitter, for example.
Yeah, which he didn't really pay for, did he?
Crazy money.
Yeah.
Yeah, big.
But this is money that's being transferred. It's only like you can only imagine.
Yeah. I listened to someone talk about, I can't remember, it may have been on Rogan or something like that, where they were talking about Elon Musk being the richest person in the world. And they said, richest person in the world publicly.
Yeah.
And they said there's sheikhs out there, there's princes out there, and there's stuff that are trillionaires. But it's just not publicly available knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, and like their net worth isn't on paper for us all to see.
I think if you own oil wells, you're going to be have a few quid, aren't you? I
You
think.
own oil fields.
Oil fields.
Not wells.
Yeah, oil fields. Yeah, you're going to be pretty well looked after, I would guess. But
they're state owned, aren't they? But you're the head of state, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's
Yeah.
the problem. What you've got in like places like Nigeria and countries like that where you've got massive oil reserves, but the senior people get wealthy, but the regular people on the street, a bit like what's happening in England right now.
Yeah.
Senior people getting wealthier and wealthier, whereas us bods and biffs on the street are just paying for it.
yeah.
I think the brown nosing that goes on in this rich community must be unbelievable.
Oh, unbearable.
Oh, could you
Absolutely
imagine?
unbearable.
Especially, could you imagine if you were serving them or a restaurant or
I
something.
mean the
or-
rich person to rich person.
that's what I
as
mean,
well.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that as
You
well.
know, your wife accidentally makes a faux pas in front of Jeff Bezos, and you're like, "You bitch,
Imagine,
you ruined it."
Can you imagine the other shit that goes on as well? Stuff that's not legal that they can't have, that they all try and get.
Yeah,
I ain't talking about drugs, just drugs.
no, that's what
Yeah.
Taken movies are about, isn't it? I'm sure
Yeah.
that's what you're insinuating there.
But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.